Today, I'm going to tell you what the most conservative states are and how many liberals they have living in their conservative red states. Welcome back to the world according to Briggs, and yes, believe it or not, there is no such thing as a 100% conservative or liberal state. This is a video that had been asked for many times, especially since just the other day we did the liberal version of it. Subscribers said we should do this right away, so here we are. This video is based on a study by Gallup. They asked people if they consider themselves liberals, conservatives, or moderates. They had other questions there too, but this is what we're focused on. I'll give you the explanation I gave in the last one. Liberalism is the predominant left-leaning ideology, and conservatism is the predominant right-leaning ideology. All those people that are in the middle that have some liberal views and some conservative views, mix of both, those people are called moderates. Now, like I mentioned in the last one, the main conclusion of this study was that conservatives vastly outnumber liberals in most US states, with 39 states showing a higher percentage of conservatives compared to liberals. Now, it's known and statistics show that conservatives tend to vote Republican and liberals tend to vote Democrat. I'm not saying they have to, I'm just saying that's how it normally shakes out. Now, that being said, the recent elections have been so close in recent years is moderates have been leaning left. They tend to vote for the Democrats just like the liberals do. Not always, but enough to swing a lot of elections. So why are we doing this video on this channel? A lot of people don't like political talks and all that. Well, I'm really not taking sides in it. I make fun of everyone. This channel focuses on where you might want to live. We look at real estate prices, cost of living, insurance prices, rental prices, personal finance, and everything else someone might want to know if they're moving to a new state, city, or county. And when a lot of people are doing their research on their move, this is one of the things they want to know. What is the political environment of wherever they're moving to? I don't get it. I don't care how you vote. I'll move wherever I want. And even if you vote 100% against what I believe, I'll still invite you over to let you take a look at my pig, maybe even feed it an apple. All right, before we get started, let us know in the comments section which state you think will be the most conservative state. Got it? Get it? Good. Let's take a look. Number 10, Missouri. Missouri is a conservative state, even if they have voted differently than you'd expect a conservative state to vote throughout its history. Missouri has often served as a bellwether for party politics in the United States. At state level, the Democratic Party has tended to dominate over the years, but Missourians have elected Republican governors and returned the Republican majority to the General Assembly on a number of occasions. These days, they are thick with conservative Republicans. The governor, the lieutenant governor, both senators, and 6 of the 8 congressmen or women lean to the right. Now, I have to say this so the political junkies don't have a hissy fit in the comment section. Liberals and conservatives aren't always Democrats or Republicans. But if you look at the statistics, liberals almost always vote for Democrats, conservatives almost always vote for Republicans. There is a lot that goes into that, I understand, but this is a 15-minute video, not a hard-hitting documentary by Ken Burns, narrated by Peter Coyote. These days, Missouri is considered highly conservative. According to the survey, people who identified as conservatives or conservative political identification was 41% of Missouri. 20% of the people said that they were liberals, ranking them 30th in the nation for liberals. Number 9, Arkansas. I knew they'd be on the list. I didn't know they'd be at number 9. I thought 2 or 3. The only thing that outnumbers conservatives in Arkansas is probably people with addiction issues. That's about it. Arkansas has been a conservative state since the dawn of time. Like Missouri, it is smack dab in the middle of what they call the Bible Belt. And that makes sense because conservatives are known to be religious. Not always, I gotta throw those disclaimers in there, but statistics show more than likely if you're conservative, you're somewhat religious. Arkansas falls under the category of highly conservative. Their conservative political identification, 41% of the state. Liberal political identification, 15%. That ranks them 45th in the nation when it comes to liberals. Number 8, Tennessee. Now, don't worry, this entire list isn't just the South, but there sure are a lot of conservative southern states. Tennessee is considered highly conservative. Again, they're in the Bible Belt. They have a long history of praying and moonshining, and obviously conservatism. Conservative political identification in Tennessee is 43%. Now, because of Nashville and the music scene, they've picked up some liberals over the years, and a lot of Californians did move out there, and they tend to be the artistic type, which, again, statistically shows they're probably going to be liberal. Well, they've only got 17% of their population that identifies as a liberal, ranking them 42nd in the nation. Number 7, Oklahoma. Hey, look, another state in the Bible Belt. They're in a few different belts. Well, it's not a belt, but they're in Tornado Alley. They're in what they call the Wheat Belt, the Bible Belt, obviously. Part of Oklahoma's in the Cotton Belt. They're also in the I Can't Take a Joke Belt. Oklahoma is one of the most conservative states. It's also one of the most Republican states. Oklahoma is one of 2 states that in both the 2016 presidential election and 2020, every single county voted Republican in the presidential election. And just so you know, the other state was West Virginia, and there was only 2 states that voted all Democrat in both those elections, Vermont and Hawaii. Conservative political identification in Oklahoma is 43%. Liberal political identification is 18%, ranking them at number 37 in the U.S. for liberals. Number 6, Louisiana. Louisiana is a little bit different. It's a very conservative state. Conservative states tend to be very religious and very conservative. That's how most Louisiana is. And then you have New Orleans, which is freaking insane most of the year. At least in the French Quarter area. It's almost like they're very conservative, but they turn a blind eye towards the French Quarter. Louisiana is considered highly conservative. Their conservative political identification is 43%. Their liberal political identification is 15%, ranking them 46th in the nation for liberals. Number 5, South Dakota. This one caught me off guard. I actually thought they made a mistake and meant South Carolina, and I had to do some research and found out no, it is in fact South Dakota. South Dakota's conservatives have a little bit of a different demographic going on that other conservative states don't have, and that's 30% of Generation X claim to be conservatives. In other conservative states, you find that around 20-21%. Baby boomers make up 40% of South Dakota's conservatives. I don't know how long South Dakota's going to be considered a conservative state because they're millennials. It's 9%. In other conservative states, it's usually around 16-20%. But right now, South Dakota is considered a highly conservative state, with their conservative political identification being 44%. Liberal political identification is 13%, ranking them 49th in the nation, which means this is another state that has a lot of those middle-of-the-road people. I don't know if they're progressives, moderates, and everything in between. Number 4, West Virginia. If this one is a surprise to you, you haven't been paying attention. West Virginia is ground zero for conservatism outside the Deep South. Sure, a lot of them might not know how to spell conservative, but they're still conservatives. This is one of the few states in this country that has a good showing of conservatism inside their metro areas. Conservatism in rural areas and small towns tends to be in the 60% area. In the cities, it tends to be under 10%. Charleston, West Virginia, 25% conservative. But overall, the state's conservative political identification is 45%. Liberal political identification is 17%, ranking them 43rd in the nation for liberals. Number 3, Wyoming. Hey, congratulations, we made it out of the South again. This one, I totally understand, and I totally get it. I would have thought they'd be earlier in the list, but here they are at number 3. Wyoming is big on their conservative values, and a lot of those values come from their religious beliefs. Conservatism and religion usually go hand in hand. Now, keep in mind I said usually. That won't stop a bunch of people going, I'm conservative, I don't go to church, what are you talking about? Okay, like I always say, I didn't have you in mind when I made the video. Talking in general, averages, statistics, things like that. 72% of Wyoming attends religious services weekly or at least once or twice a month. The national average for that is 42%. They like their God, they like their guns, and they like conservatism. Wyoming is considered highly conservative. Their conservative political identification is 46%. Liberal political identification, 18%, ranking them 38th in the nation for liberals. Number 2, Alabama. Yep, back to the Deep South we go, and we're staying in the Deep South for the rest of this video. Alabama is definitely in the Bible Belt. They need 4 things in their life: Alabama football, sweet tea, church services, and conservatism. Alabama is considered highly conservative. Their conservative political identification is 46%. Liberal political identification, only 14%, ranking them 48th in the nation. All right, before we get to number 1, first of all, if you're looking to move to one of these states, there's a link for Home and Money in the description box below. They'll help you get in touch with a real estate agent anywhere in the country. And the 3 states that almost made this list: Idaho was number 11 with 40% conservatives. Indiana was number 12 with 39% conservatives. And Alaska would have been number 13 with 39% as well. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, Rhode Island. Just kidding, Mississippi. That's right, the Magnolia State comes in at number 1. They are considered highly conservative. This is like one thing Mississippi actually excels at, besides 9-year-olds addicted to chewing tobacco. This whole video, every state was like 1 percentage point away from the next one on the list, or they were tied, all within the 40s. Mississippi jumps forward 4 points to number 50. They actually have 50% of their population considers themselves conservatives. Their liberal political identification, only 12%, ranking them last in the nation for liberals and first in the nation for conservatives. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, and be nice to each other.